Hi everyone, welcome to Watch It Play Table Talk. My name is Rodney Smith, and this week's discussion topic is something that I do struggle with: getting rid of your games. Now, I am not a hoarder by any means. I routinely purge things from my household that I'm not using on a regular basis. I just don't like having extra things lying around that don't have an ongoing function. It's just more stuff for me to manage. But I am a collector in three specific areas: comic books, novels, and yes, board games. I will hang on to these things even when I know in my heart I'm not going to read or use them again. Cody Jones of the popular Game On podcast that's no longer on had coined a popular theory, the Jones theory. This has been slightly misinterpreted over time. Let me give you the mostly right interpretation of this theory, and then I'll refine it. The idea here is that if you have more than one game within a specific genre, then you should get rid of all of them except for one. Let's say, for example, you had two deck builders. You're not going to like them both equally, and probably when you go to play a deck builder, you're going to continue to grab one, ignoring the other. So why keep that one that you're not playing? Now, that's not exactly accurate. Really what Cody Jones was getting at is the idea that you should play the games that you have, and if you're not playing them, then get rid of them. So if you do have two deck builders that you are playing on a frequent basis, almost equally, then there's no need to get rid of both of them in that case. It's just, when you have 5 of these deck builders, odds are you aren't playing all of them equally. So let's get rid of those ones that you aren't playing anymore. This is something I struggle with. The catch for me is that I just enjoy having games. That's why I call myself a collector of them. I know I don't feature my games in my collection in my videos most often, but I do enjoy when someone comes over and I can show them the games that I have and maybe point out something that I'm not playing now but that meant something to me at one time or another that I really enjoyed playing. I get kind of a sentimental value, I think, from looking at an older game that I remember from my childhood playing several times, or even just from a year or two ago, that when I first played it really got me and I really enjoyed playing. And so I struggled to get rid of those. But recently I decided that maybe it was time to get rid of some of my games. Unlike books where you can store hundreds of them on a single bookshelf, you can't quite do that with board games. So I had to make some tough decisions. The thing is, I don't have a lot of options locally for selling my games, and I'm certainly not trying to make a profit. The vast majority of games in my collection have been and continue to be ones that I pay for myself. But because of Watch It Play It, I do on occasion receive games that I don't have to pay for. So keeping that in mind, what I did is I took all of the games I was trying to get rid of to my local game group, and I offered them at a flat rate of $5 each. So this was a good deal in most cases, but especially good when you're talking about games like Sedition Wars, which I think was north of $100 to kickstart. But my objective here was to get rid of these games, to move them out of my collection, and to give them to people that I thought would enjoy them. And you know what, if they're going to people in my local game group, and these are games that if I really do want to play, I can ask them, hey, would you consider bringing that game that you purchased from me to game group, and then I can play them again. And listen, I got to be honest, it was very satisfying to watch my friends be able to grab a whole handful of games at a very good price. Who doesn't love finding a game that you've maybe wanted to try out or pick up for a very good price? So that was certainly an enjoyable part of the process, and it made getting rid of my games a little bit easier. But here's the question that I'd like to leave you with for us to discuss a little bit further in the next episode. How do you decide when it's time to get rid of a game? Do you have games in your collection that you're hanging on to that you haven't played with in a while and maybe aren't going to get to again? Why do you feel compelled to hang on to those games? Maybe you're someone who gets rid of games very easily. Why do you think that is? And have you found some good ways of passing your games on? I think it'd be helpful, I'm sure, to some of us to share them. I know, in fact, it will be, because I was contacted by a Brian Goodman who inspired me with this topic a little bit when he was asking me, for different ways of evaluating the value of games that he was trying to get rid of and how he could sell them. As someone who didn't have a lot of practice in this area, I didn't have a lot of good suggestions, so I thought maybe some of you might have some to pass along. And we certainly appreciate getting those responses in the YouTube comments, as well as in video responses. So record a video and send me the link, and we'll feature your comments and those videos in the next episode. In particular, I'd love to hear about a specific game that maybe you're hanging on to that you've had a really difficult time getting out of your collection. Let me know about those, either because they're so bad you can't get rid of them, or they're just so good you can't bring yourself to get rid of it. Until the next episode, thanks for watching.